Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here at 7. I'm Caitlin Francis.
I'm Caitlin Nuclo. You're watching Eyewitness News here on the Wax. A lot to talk about this morning, including that developing news in Torington, where on top of that, crews still battling that massive fire at a vacant building.
Yeah, but before we take you live to that scene, we're going to say good morning to meteorologist Jill Gilardi for checking that first alert forecast. Jill, off to a beautiful start here.
Yeah, very comfortable. We have some high wispy clouds. No, we don't have rain, but a cool thing about the fancy radars these days, we can detect birds. And this time of year, we have swallows that take off from their roost every morning around sunrise. And in this case, we have thousands, so easily being detected right now. But as mentioned, some high-level clouds are going to be starting to build in. That process is happening to our southwest, and then we'll continue as we go through the rest of today. Points north and westward. Even have a touch of fog. You can see that in the valley location there in Rocky Hill, and that's kind of the case right near those little dips by a body of water. A little fog visibility, though. Reporting sites great, so no issues there. Temperatures are above average. We have as cool as 51 Salisbury, but as warm as 63 in New Haven. The wind flow right now coming in from the north. Won't be aggressive today. Eventually will flow up from the south as that onshore flow kicks in. But look at this for the kiddos heading out to the bus stop and for that ride in, upper 50s, low 60s. Lunch and recess looks fantastic outside. We're dressing if we don't have to, you know, if attire doesn't matter, wearing the shorts and the t-shirts today, and certainly changing into that afterwards when you get home, because it's going to be a warm one out there with readings in the mid and upper 70s to near 80 degrees. So we're above average as we kick off the week. We're not going to stay this warm all week long. We'll talk about the change ahead coming up in your first alert forecast a little bit later. Let's get an update on traffic with Caitlin. Good morning again.
All right, good morning. Hey, if you're heading out the door right now, we're off to a beautiful start here across the state. We're crash and incident free. You're taking a live look here in Hartford. Some normal delays building as you're traveling 91 southbound towards 84 here. Live look outside by the Mixmaster, 84 east and westbound in Waterbury, in Middletown along Route 9, moving along through that stretch, and in Meriden along 691 east and westbound. So you'll need the sunglasses as you're getting ready to head out the door. Sun glare could be a little bit of an issue here for you. But again, the rest of the state is pretty quiet. Again, we're not dealing with any major incidents out there. Daytime construction work will pick up between about 8:30 and 9 o'clock. So right now, you might see just a scattered one-off of those road projects that are picking up. All that overnight construction has wrapped. They wrapped about an hour ago, and those drive times looking pretty typical for this time of morning. Just over an hour-and-a-half ride, 95 southbound towards the George Washington Bridge. So to check out your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report, driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
All right, we're following developing news here out of Torington this morning. That's where firefighters are still working to put out a fire at a vacant industrial building.
So this is now basically day 2 into the fight. They've been doing this for more than 30 hours now. Your reporter Taylor Knight live there in Torington with the latest from first responders. Taylor, good morning.
That's right. This is hour 30 for these crews here. This morning, they say that the fire is contained, but they are still here working on those hot spots. They are moving through the buildings here, pulling walls and ceilings down to make sure everything is completely out. And that is what is causing the smoke you see here on your screen right now. It's really been smoky since we arrived here, and now that it is getting lighter out, we can see the damage to the buildings here. There are some walls missing, part of the roof is gone, just a lot of destruction from this fire here. But there is some good news through these last 30 hours. There have been no reported injuries. This was an abandoned building, so no one was inside when the fire started early this morning. Fire officials have not released any information yet on what may have caused this fire to start early yesterday morning. They're also unsure how long they will be here. And a heads up, if your morning commute takes you through this area, there are still a lot of road closures through the neighborhood streets here, so you might want to avoid this area or just take another route if possible. Your reporter live in Torrington, Taylor Knight, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
We're on top of developing news in Hartford this morning, where police are searching right now for the person or people responsible for a shooting that killed a man and hurt another. Happened about 9 o'clock on Brook Street, not far from the Xfinity Theater. The victim who was hurt is being treated right now at a hospital and is expected to survive.
Hartford police also investigating 2 other shootings from over the weekend. 1 person killed near the West Indian Social Club. A 2nd person seriously hurt along Franklin Avenue. So police have not said if any of these incidents are related. Also, no word yet on any arrests. But if you've got any information, you're asked to give Hartford police a call. Today, President Donald Trump is expected to meet with congressional leaders to try to come up with a way to keep the government open. Just a day left to reach a deal before the government will partially shut down late tomorrow night. Democrats demanding Republicans protect access to federal health care programs, but Republicans say those proposals are a non-starter.
Well, this morning, leaders in our state bracing for the potential impact of a government shutdown. It could cause non-essential federal workers to lose their paychecks. Governor Lamont says the state has been looking at what state programs would be affected if the government does shut down. The president has threatened to fire thousands of federal workers if a spending agreement is not reached by tomorrow's deadline. He's expected to meet with congressional leaders today. Also today, people in Waterbury might once again be without water, but there is good news on the other end of this.
We want to make sure that you know what that is. So the city is planning to make final repairs on the water main break that happened about a week ago at this point. Your reporter Anna Stansfield live right off of Huntington Avenue, where crews starting back up to make this repair. Anna, good morning. What do people need to know as they're waking up?
Well, Caitlin, good morning. A lot on tap here in Waterbury today. You can see the road is still closed here behind me, blocking off where the water started pouring into the streets here early last week. And right now we're on day 6. It's hard to believe, day 6 since this water main break happened. And as you all mentioned, we could soon be seeing some hope out here as the part that the city has been waiting for to make these necessary repairs has finally arrived. Yesterday, crews already out preparing for today's repairs. As you get ready for the day this morning, you shouldn't have any issues with your water. Waterbury's mayor says work should start later this afternoon, which is when water will be shut off, making sure schools won't be impacted so kids can get back in the classroom. Once work begins, it's expected to take about 6 hours. And during that time, Waterbury's mayor says you should be prepared for low water pressure or no water at all. And right now, still nearly 1,000 people within the city have a boil water advisory. The mayor says that will remain in effect until they can make these repairs and get the water tested. I'm your reporter in Waterbury, Anna Stansfield, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Anna, thank you. Right now, police in Hamden looking into what caused a crash that killed a mother and her 7-year-old child. Police say 2 cars collided right near Davis Street and Rogers Road. 2 other people seriously hurt in this incident, but they are expected to be okay.
Well, right now, the FBI is investigating a deadly attack on a Mormon church in Michigan. Police say the shooter crashed into the church and began firing a gun at people before setting that building on fire. At least 4 were killed, 8 others hurt. Police killed the suspect after he left the church. And this morning, Jimmy Kimmel back on the air in our state. Nexstar Broadcasting Group ended its suspension on Friday over comments that he made about the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Nexstar owns Channel 8, the ABC affiliate in our state. And although Kimmel's shows were available through streaming platforms and on YouTube, it was not on the air for his first show back. Nexstar is seeking FCC approval for a merger with another broadcast company and took Kimmel off the air after the FCC chairman criticized his comments.
And today, a couple of U.S. senators, including from right here in Connecticut, hosting a free speech forum as part of the ongoing response to that temporary suspension of Jimmy Kimmel. And even though Kimmel has been allowed back on the air, Democrats and free speech advocates raising concerns still that the FCC chairman's criticism of Kimmel played a role in his suspension.
Right now, North Haven police working to identify the person who was found dead in the Quinnipiac River. Police say some kayakers found a body in the river on Sunday. Anyone with information should call police.
7:10 right now in New Haven. Police still searching for a suspect in a shooting that left a 15-year-old dead over the weekend. This happened along Bassett Street near the Lincoln Bassett Community School. Neighbors tell us They are worried about safety in that neighborhood and say more needs to be done to keep teens away from violence.
Well, this morning, the town of Berlin has found a special way to honor a fallen hero.
So the town added Robert Sharkovich Sr.'s name to its Fallen Firefighters Memorial, a ceremony held over the weekend for the Wethersfield volunteer firefighter.
He died in a UTV accident while responding to a brush fire in Berlin last year. His sister says his family is still trying to process the death, adding that they're grateful to have another place to go to remember him. Well, today in East Hampton, Governor Lamont will sign 2 new laws meant to help military veterans. One of the new measures will remove certain benefits from income when deciding eligibility for public assistance programs. Another requires school boards to keep students enrolled in their current school when a service member is ordered to relocate.